Welcome to In the Spotlight, Howard Community College's show highlighting the Horowitz Visual and Performing Arts Center. On this episode, we'll introduce you to HCC's new dance faculty, Joan Nicholas Walker. The Arts Collective brings Ragtime the Musical to Smith Theater. We'll find out about an exciting partnership between HCC and the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society. RepStage wraps up their 21st season with the musical The Fantastics. And artist Leah Sarah Bassett talks about her upcoming show in HCC's Art Department Gallery. The dance program at HCC provides a solid technical foundation for dance majors, as well as access to many styles of dance for non-majors. Under the watchful eye of Theater and Dance Chair Renee Brozick-Barger, the program continues to grow, creating the need for another full-time faculty position. Reporter Grace Anastasiadis introduces us to Joan Nicholas Walker.
Before Joan Nicholas Walker became full-time this past year, she taught at HCC as an adjunct instructor for 3 years, winning the Inspiring Adjunct Faculty Award in 2013.
I was teaching here and at CCBC and at UMBC one year, all of them at the same time, and it was just insane. So it kind of was a dream come true that a full-time position at a school that I enjoyed teaching at happened. I mean, it was a no-brainer.
Nicholas Walker started dancing at the age of 5.
I didn't want to play baseball, and I was dragged to football and basketball and baseball games, and so my mom was like, it's time for you to find an activity, that for you. And that's basically how I started.
Performing on stage is what kept her dancing.
So I started with ballet and tap and jazz, and then as I got older, I did gymnastics, and only because it supported dance, or that I was able to use dance with gymnastics, and was in a ballet company at age 10, stayed with them in Richmond until 18. And pretty much at 14, I had to make that decision. I was being recruited by, Richmond Ballet. A couple of people were like, you should come, and that's what you should do. But I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew that ballet wasn't the only genre that I wanted to explore.
After sustaining injuries her senior year of high school, Nicholas Walker decided to pursue English with an emphasis in creative writing at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. But after attending an informal dance performance her freshman year, she realized she couldn't walk away from dancing.
I guess it was kind of like an outreach. They had like a small little informal performance for just the general, freshman population. I was like, I think I want to take a class if I can fit it in. And then from there, I started modern dance, and I knew that's what I really wanted to do.
In addition to teaching both dance technique and theory courses, Nicholas Walker is also HCC's coordinator of dance.
I get to do what I really like to do, which is develop dancers to move on, to pursue their career, or to pursue whatever else, the rest of their education. So the dance program here, it's a small one in a great way, because the classes are so intimate that I feel like I actually make a difference to the students because they're, a small number of them. I think what stands out about our program is the individual attention that the students receive. While we are trying to grow the program, I honestly hope it doesn't get too big. I think a lot of students excel quickly.
Nicholas Walker was also chosen to direct this year's Arts Collective Dance Company production.
I mean, to me, that was one of the most fun parts of being the director for the company this year, was inviting artists and figuring out who to bring in. So I reached out to some colleagues. I was telling the students I kind of didn't want to take any chances. Like, I wanted to work with people that I knew their work and I knew their work ethic, and I knew they were going to come in and they were going to get the job done.
Nicholas Walker has made quite an impact this year, earning the Inspiring Full-Time Faculty Award of 2014.
I'm so flattered. I just do what I think. Like I tell Renee, I'm doing what I think I'm supposed to do. So It's great to be recognized because I do. I have worked hard. I've worked very hard. So I don't need to be patted on the back, but it just really made me feel like, I think with anyone that it's appreciated that what I'm doing is, and that I'm on the right track.
As for the future, Nicholas Walker would like to expand the program and provide dance students with more opportunities to perform.
I feel like that would be great to not house all of our performance opportunities in one place, because I think it's a huge time commitment for students, and not every performance opportunity is based on that. Yes, it's a lot of rehearsal, but that's what I would like to see happen.
For more information on the HCC dance program, you can call Nicholas Walker at 443-518-3173 or email her at jnicholaswalker@howardcc.edu. I'm Grace Anastasiades for In the Spotlight.
Based on the novel Ragtime by E.L. Doctorow, Ragtime the Musical tells the story of three culturally diverse groups of people as they make their way in early 1900s New York. When setting out to bring Ragtime to HCC, Arts Collective's producing artistic director, Sue Kramer, wanted to echo the spirit of the production by inviting both familiar and fresh faces to join the Ragtime family. Her first step was to hire Arts Collective newcomer David Gregory as director for the show.
I was first introduced to David Gregory when I went to see a play musical that he directed a couple of years ago called Wild Party. And I was so impressed with his sensitivity, his attention to detail, what he got from those performers in that teeny tiny little space regarding the set, the costumes, the music.
If you've been to Toby's Dinner Theater lately, you might recognize David Gregory, who's been a regular on stage at Baltimore and DC theaters for the past decade. He's currently pursuing a PhD in theater and performance studies at University of Maryland and is naturally attracted to ambitious projects.
I've known about Ragtime, and it's been one of my favorite musicals for a number of years. I'm old enough to have seen the original productions. So when Sue asked me to direct Ragtime, I was a little hesitant at first just because I know that the show comes with a lot of challenges, I think, in terms of casting and production and just the epic nature of the show. And so I think just that interest in kind of tackling challenges made me say yes.
Gregory is passionate about the themes explored in Ragtime and feels that there is a lot to be learned from the characters in the show.
I think Ragtime is a fantastic piece, I think, because it kind of covers a lot of different levels in terms of a history of our country and kind of an exploration of traditions. So I think that on the kind of superficial level is the most obvious answer as well. But I think when we start getting to kind of the subject matter itself, we start to look at issues of race and issues of immigration and issues of basically just getting along and living together, knowing how to do that.
In order to tell this story, Gregory developed a concept that would allow audience members to experience the show as if they were discovering artifacts or capturing moments from the past.
As I remember back to our first company meeting when he was sharing his concept, the Horowitz Center theme this year is time and memory. And he described Ragtime to him as this sort of a living museum. And when he talked about the shadow boxes and the objects living on stage, and the cover of the Horowitz Center brochure this year is exactly that.
Bringing this production to the stage is a cast of over 30 actors, which presents a challenge, but smart casting has taken away any potential fears. HCC alumna and Arts Collective regular Santina May-Latesi holds one of the production's leading roles as the character of Mother.
It's such a gift to be able to work with Santina again. I first met her when she was 16 in the early years of Arts Collective, and she was our Abigail in our production of Crucible. And she's been in and out of Arts Collective's shows for many, many years ever since then.
Following her time as an HCC student, May-Latesi completed her theater education at Catholic University. She's been working in regional theaters for quite some time, but something keeps calling her back to HCC.
I've done, as much as I can to make it back, because working with Arts Collective has just been so rewarding over the years, and I've been able to fit back in even though I've gotten older and I'm no longer a student here. I continue to see opportunities where I can come back, and this is still my family and it's still my home.
In addition to experienced actors like May Latesi, the cast for Ragtime includes novice actors from the Howard County community, including current HCC students. Gregory's approachable directing style is ideal for this eclectic cast.
You're really on equal footing, you're like colleagues, and so you never feel like you're going to disappoint him, and you feel good about being able to give him your feedback or ask if maybe something would work depending on how you're feeling about your character at that moment. So it's really a wonderful experience.
After directing this uniquely American musical, Gregory's next project will take him to different shores. He's moving to Spain to complete his doctoral studies, but has enjoyed working with the Arts Collective to bring Ragtime's tapestry of characters to life on stage.
My experience at Arts Collective has been astoundingly delightful. There's been this seamless fusion of kind of the college, the Arts Collective, and outside artists kind of working together for this one mammoth project. So it's been delightful, a blast, challenging, and I look forward to what we can all do together.
For more information about upcoming Arts Collective productions, visit howardcc.edu/artscollective. Or you can check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/artscollectivehcc. Howard Community College's partnership with the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society began in 2003, and over the years it has flourished. Angela Phillips has more on the story.
Co-chair for the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society Board of Directors and HCC English professor Dr. Tara Hart helped facilitate the agreement between the two organizations, and it has been a wonderful collaboration for the college.
What I think Hoco Palizzo's presence does for us is keep us not only aware of the exciting things in the literary world that are happening at the moment, but we offer this extraordinary access for students to the writers that come right here, and very often for the students there are free events or significantly reduced prices for them.
The Howard County Poetry and Literature Society, affectionately known as Hoco Palizzo, was founded in 1974 by Ellen Conroy Kennedy.
The Kennedys were one of the, early settlers that they call them in Columbia, one of the first families, and she and her friends, who all are literature lovers and love arts and culture, and Ellen is an author herself and actually a National Book Award finalist, she and her friends would travel wherever they needed to see the authors that they loved, the writers and the poets. So they would go to DC or Baltimore or even New York to see them. And what I understand is that they had a conversation one day where they said, wouldn't it be wonderful to bring these people here to our community and let people see them in a much more intimate setting and feel like they really met them and listened to them and didn't have to stand in line with hundreds of other people to sign their books.
Hoco Palizzo's mission is to enlarge the audience for contemporary poetry and literature and the world literary heritage.
So we try to attract the very best writers from anywhere in the world, and as I say, bring them here to this community and let our audience have an experience and feel that they were able to truly hear and appreciate, and not just the writer, but each other, to meet other people in their community who love writing, and to have those experiences.
It's really ridiculous how many of the world's great writers have been in this little tiny community college campus. Stanley Kunitz at the Lower Nursing Lounge, a space that's not there anymore. He was here a couple of times. Grace Paley on the stage at Smith Theater, Amiri Baraka, Saul Bellow.
We've had 3 Nobel laureates and many award-winning writers. We were very fortunate to have Lucille Clifton not only several times as a poet, but she also served on our board as artistic director for many years. We've had Robert Haas, Seamus Haney, more recently Colin McCann. And this year's Irish Evening, we have our Irish writers from Ireland are Teo Durgan and Paula Meehan.
Hokopalizzo's Irish Evening is a fundraising event held annually at the college.
So what happens is we have first the literary part of the evening, and very often we have the Irish ambassador introduce the writer. And then during intermission, people can mingle, enjoy refreshments, get books signed, and then go back in for Irish music by narrowbacks and step dancers. So it's a really festive event.
The Blackbird Poetry Festival is another event sponsored by Hokopalizzo each year.
The Blackbird Festival is traditionally held in April, which is National Poetry Month, and usually on the last Thursday of April because that's National Poem in Your Pocket Day.
National Poem in Your Pocket Day encourages people to share the art and joy of poetry by literally carrying a poem in their pocket all day.
What the Blackbird Poetry Festival Committee came up with was, why don't we make sure that they do by actually having poetry police go around and ask people if they have a poem in their pocket and issue citations for people who don't. Of course, the citations are let them know about the Blackbird Poetry Festival, and they contain a poem as well, so that now they have a poem to put in their pocket.
The Blackbird Poetry Festival is hosting the very popular Billy Collins.
And he is the poet that I always teach to students who know the least about poetry, because his poems are kind of deceptively simple but very accessible.
Since 1986, Howard Community College's television station has been producing a 30-minute program for Hokopalizzo.
It's a literary talk show where one writer talks to another writer over a coffee table, and the television camera eavesdrops. A brilliant idea, and it was a way for Hokopalizzo to capture and record these great treasures of American history, world history too.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity sometimes to bring certain people together. And now, not only is it broadcast through cable television, as it's been for many years, but Hokopalizzo has a YouTube channel. And so people all over the world are watching these episodes.
Hokopalizzo is also active within the Howard County school system, seeking grant money to fund a writer in residence each year for the county high schools.
Very often the poets also have some kind of teaching background or experience in working with young people, so that they become like poetry ambassadors in the high schools. They go in and will do a workshop or some kind of interactive experience with the students and let them in kind of behind the curtain and try to demystify the world of poetry or writing.
As Hokopalizzo celebrates its 40th anniversary this year, the organization continues to bring great literature to the county.
I think as a relatively small organization that has a long history and is so embedded in the community, I think it becomes more and more clear over time that it's not just a privilege to work with the organization, but it's kind of a responsibility to this community. They have high standards for arts and culture in Howard County, and we're part of that, and we want to kind of honor that expectation.
For more information on Hokopalizzo, check out their website at hokopalizzo.org. You can also find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Hokopalizzo. For In the Spotlight, I'm Angela Phillips.
Rep Stage wrapped up their 21st season with The Fantastics, a musical directed by Nancy Tarr Hart.
It's about love found, love lost, love refound. But what it really is a love story to imagination, to magic, and to theater. It's a journey that the players, it's always made very clear that this is a troupe of actors coming in to do their job. And the actors invite the audience to take this journey into the imagination and into a couple of hours of just remembering what it felt to be in love.
The Fantastics is not your typical musical with elaborate sets and costume changes.
It's very simplistic. It's an empty stage except for a banner and a couple of benches and a trunk. It relies only on 8 people, one of whom never speaks the entire night. There's one costume each, and they're literally just clothes. I think in a more traditional musical, like Hello Dolly, West Side Story, Cabaret, there's obvious sort of breaks in what's going on. It's almost like somebody puts a pause button on and you step out, you do the number. The Fantastics, I think, is a little more organic than that. It's certainly there's numbers that come in. Almost everything is set to music, even there's underscore, but it's more of a weaving together. It's very inherent, very organic, and it weaves together like a tapestry as opposed to stepping out, stepping back in. It's just all there.
Considered to be the world's longest-running musical, the original production debuted off-Broadway in May 1960. Because of its longevity, The Fantastics is also one of the most performed musicals, with several variations of the show being produced. For Repstage's production, Tar Heart chose to stay true to the original.
I don't think that you can really improve on what the authors originally did. Their intention was to keep it simple so that you could focus on, I think, what's important, which is the lines, the music, what the actors are doing, and the crux of the story.
It has been several years since Repstage produced a musical, but Tar Heart and former producing artistic director Michael Stebbins felt it was time and chose The Fantastics for its universal appeal.
I think that it's something you can't go wrong with. It's beloved by people, it's a chestnut, and it touches your heart. The whole concept of sometimes we love so much the things that we can't have, and when we have them, suddenly we realize that they've got warts and there's cracks and all of this, and we decide we don't love them anymore. And then they leave, and guess what? We realize how much we loved them. And if we're lucky, they come back. And it's that magical journey that this little musical takes you on. People can go and sit and just enjoy, just share in that magic. The magic of theater, the magic of love, the magic of promise, the magic of illusion. You know, it's all there. That's why I like it.
And Tar Heart had a magical experience directing the show.
It's a group of people that any director in their right mind would be foolish not to be totally excited and over the moon about. Each one of them bringing different talents and strengths to the table. I'm just thrilled also with the production team. So what that culminates in is just an absolutely beautiful marriage of creativity and discipline and community. And that translates out into the audience and makes it then that full experience.
To find out more about Repstage and their upcoming season, visit repstage.org. You can also find them on Facebook at facebook.com/repstage. HCC's Art Department Gallery will soon feature the work of former HCC art student and 2002 Arts and Humanities Student of the Year, Leah Sarah Bassett. We caught up with Bassett at her home studio in Howard County, where she fondly recalled her time at the college.
While I was at HCC, I took numerous different types of art classes. I did dance, acting, voice. I was in some plays. I took photography. I took a lot of life drawing classes. James Adkins was a huge influence to me over at HCC. I loved his nudes. He's a beautiful artist. And a few years after being at HCC, he ended up being one of my studio mates. Well, we didn't share a studio together, but at the same place. So that was really fun to have that carry on, that relationship.
Much like her former instructor, Bassett gravitates to the human form as the subject for much of her artwork.
I love the female form and nudes. Try to keep it tasteful, but a lot of people can say it can be kind of dark. I just like the frailty, and also there's a mysteriousness to each painting, trying to let other people figure it out for themselves what that person is saying or what their story is. But often there's some kind of emotion to each painting that shows through.
While she leaves her images open for interpretation, there's no denying that her artwork is emotionally charged. She finds inspiration all around.
When I decide to start a new painting, it can be triggered by just a feeling or an experience that has just happened that inspires me. Sometimes it's a friend that inspires me and they just look beautiful in this light. Sometimes I just go down to the bookstore and look through art magazines or art books. Other times I get inspiration because I just close my eyes to go to bed and I just see something and I have to write it down or try to keep it in mind.
Transferring inspiration to canvas comes naturally to Bassett. She's found a technique that allows her subjects to have their own evolution.
Creating the environment first and then almost building from there, like who this character is, coming from this mysterious environment. Most of the times you don't know where it is, or it's a form, like a kind of void that they're emerging from.
Bassett will spend anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years working on a piece. Some of her paintings, which line the walls of her home studio, have been with her for years and are still considered works in progress.
For years, it was very, very difficult for me to part with any of my work. And it is really difficult to know this character for so long or see her every day, and every day means something different sometimes to me. Or sometimes I go back and I keep messing around with the painting until it's perfect. But I'm finally at a point in my life where I can give it, share it with the world, rather than just keep holding on to something that you are just so in love with and put a lot of time into.
Bassett doesn't rely on art sales to make a living, but her talents have led her into an artistically satisfying and lucrative career.
Painting for me is my #1 passion in life, my visual artwork. I've been really lucky to find a great job as a career and that pays the bills, that is still something really, really fun and artistic, and that is makeup. And so I'm a freelance makeup artist. I learned over the years I just had a really difficult time trying to paint for other people, trying to do commissions or anything like that, and I just learned that I can be social with the makeup and also just be really passionate in my artwork and keep that for me and then share it with everyone the way that I want to share it in galleries.
Ready to share her paintings with the world, Bassett began looking for exhibit space when she discovered the college's galleries during a visit to campus last year. Having not seen HCC's venues for quite some time, she was impressed by the new facilities. After connecting with HCC Art Gallery Director Becky Bafford, Bassett submitted her portfolio for consideration, and the rest is history.
Going back to HCC to show my artwork, I'm really excited. It's grown. It's such a beautiful space, and it was always beautiful to begin with, but it's great to see how much they've done, and I'm really happy to show my artwork there.
For more information on upcoming exhibits in the HCC galleries, visit howardcc.edu/galleries. To learn more about Leah Sarah Bassett and her work, visit leahsarahbassett.com. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about the Horowitz Visual and Performing Arts Center, you can visit us at howardcc.edu/Horowitz Center or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Horowitz Center. I'm Janelle Broderick for In the Spotlight. See you next time.